It's like you're churning butter.
It is like I'm churning butter. Hi folks, my name is Sid. I work here at the UVic Campus Community Garden, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about container soil. So if you live in an apartment and have a balcony and you want to grow some things in containers, this video is all about what type of soil you want in those containers. We talked a little bit about it in the seeding leeks video, but I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. So if you're filling a container for the first time, the easiest way to start is to go and buy bags of pre-mixed soil, because container soil has a lot of different components that provide nutrients, that hold water, that create air pockets in the soil, and so a pre-mixed bag of soil is going to be a really easy way to start. One thing to look out for is that a lot of pre-mixed soils, if they're not organic, labeled organic, they'll actually have little fertilizer bulbs in them, like Miracle-Gro or something like that, so just make sure that you're buying organic soil. Today, I have old soil here that has been used for a season and I saved, and now I'm going to talk about how to revamp it and what things I'm going to put in it so that it's good for this year as well. I like mixing soil either in a garbage can or a wheelbarrow, so I've taken some soil out from last year's savings, and you can see that it's still really nice, but a lot of the nutrients that were already in the soil have been used up by the tomato plants that grew in it last year. So I'm just revamping it. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to add lots of nice compost. I've already added peat moss into here, and peat moss is just a really carbony, fibrous thing that is like a sponge for water, which is especially important for us because we keep our seedlings on top of heat mats, and the heat mats evaporate water super quick. So if you have something spongy like peat moss, it's going to hold on to that water for longer. So in here, I'm going to do a mixture of about 2 parts old soil, 1 part compost. And this is my nice compost that I'm going to put in. The next thing I'm going to add is some more perlite. So perlite creates those beautiful air pockets in the soil that allows fresh new baby roots to go into. And so I've already got some in my old soil, and any soil mix comes with perlite, but I'm just going to top it up a bit more because I've added so much compost. So in that goes. And then the last thing I'm going to add to mine is a bit of bone meal. So I added compost, which is really rich in nutrients, and I've got my perlite, but bone meal is an organic fertilizer. And the nice thing about bone meal, and the reason I'm adding it now, is because it's a slow release fertilizer. When you're planting seedlings, they need fertilizer at about 3 weeks after they've sprouted, and then once again when they've been put in the ground. So if I add my bone meal at the 3-week part, or at the 3-week timeline on top of my seedlings, then it's not going to release in time. But if I add my bone meal into the soil now, that slow release is going to happen, and then at 3 weeks the fertilizer will be available to the plants. And I talked a little bit about why you want to buy organic soil, and the reason for that is that all non-organic potting soils, they come with these little balls of fertilizer, and those are actually chemical fertilizers. They're not natural fertilizers, so we want to be mindful of what we're putting back into the earth and where those chemicals are going. So we just don't want to use chemical fertilizers. So bone meal or liquid seaweed or even compost, they're all really great options. So I'm just going to add about 2 spoonfuls of bone meal because it's really, really potent. Now that I've finished mixing my soil, I'm going to do my final test to make sure that everything is in the correct balance. So the first part of my test is I'm going to try and form a ball. And this test will only work if your soil is a bit damp. And so you can see that my soil, I formed it into a ball and it stayed nicely. If your soil doesn't do this, it's too high in carbony, fibrous things like peat moss, and you need to add in a bit more kind of either like manure or something nitrogenous to make it form this ball. The second part of the test is you're going to poke it and it should crumble right away. If it doesn't crumble right away, you don't have enough carbon or fibrous things in your soil. So you want to have that nice balance that it forms with all the sticky, goopy, nitrogenous things, and then it'll also crumble really easily with your fibrous things. This is my method for revamping soil that's been in a container and been used for a season. But if you have a container that's already established on your balcony and you're thinking to yourself, I don't want to pull all the soil out and have to mix it, the best thing to do to revamp your container soil is to just add 2 or 3, even 4 inches of compost to the top of your soil. You want to stay away from things that are pure steer manure or pure chicken manure, because those are going to be too high in nitrogen and not have enough of that fiber content that you want for the loaminess of your soil. So you're wanting to look for a bag or a product that is just pure compost, and that will be a nice rejuvenation for your containers and allow you to grow some beautiful veg. Thanks for watching this video on mixing container soil. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment, drop us a question. Feel free to email us at any point in time. We're always here as a resource, and look out for our next video. Bask in the sun.
Like a lizard.
I was thinking a frog, but I guess they don't bask, eh?